This is episode 11 of the Unapologetic Gentlemen. We're back again, man. This is Tyrone, one of your co-hosts. We got Gonzo and JD here, ready to get back and talk about all this madness going on in the universe, man.
All this fuckery.
What do we got, man? What's first?
It's hot bullshit.
So we've been discussing some of the topics that we wanted to go over. And one of them that we've been seeing a lot of people talk about on social media is entrepreneurship and why more people are choosing that path. And does the traditional 9-to-5 need to evolve because millennials and Generation Z are looking elsewhere to create income and they're looking for more work-life balance? What do you guys think about that and how everybody's screaming work-life balance? Do you guys think everybody's being a little bitch and then they just work harder, or what do you guys think on that?
I think it's just a trendy thing to say. So people scream that work-life balance because it's a trendy topic thing to say. Are people moving towards working for themselves and working online and things like that? Yeah, but that's just technology. Technology breeds that, in my opinion. The more advanced we become in technology, the more advanced we become in skills and things like that on the internet, you're going to see younger people who are more equipped to handle it because they've been raised with the internet, just gravitating in that fashion. But, obviously the 9-to-5 was never going to go anywhere, in my opinion. That the traditional working for someone is never going to go anywhere. I'm not sure about the hourly.
Do you think coronavirus changed the way that employers are looking at the way how many times people need to come into the office? Do you think that's going to change? Do you think maybe just 2 times a week coming into the office?
I mean, it has changed in a lot of big companies, but the reality is, to me, is everyone's crying about this work-life balance thing, and I get it. If I could retire right now, I would. I'd rather be working out, spending time with my family, traveling, hanging out with my friends, doing this podcast with you guys than working. But at the same time, if you want to be successful from a financial standpoint in life, at some point sacrifices have to be made, and I think you have to decide: are you going to make those sacrifices younger or older? So whether that's sacrificing sleep, time with your kids, time with your family, sometimes even to the detriment of your health. If you want to start to move up into that top tier of an earner, the work-life balance thing, yeah, it comes eventually, but there's going to be a point where you have to grind. Whether that was in high school, college, military, wherever, there's a point. Everyone has their breaking point to where they burn out, but
you guys think entrepreneurship right now is just something trendy?
I think it's, of course, it's
everybody's
trendy.
doing it to be cool, more so?
I don't think everyone's doing it to be cool, but like Joanne said, the innovation and the technological advances have allowed for people to circumvent the normal ways in which people have always done things to make money. I think if you are relatively knowledgeable about especially technology, there's definitely ways that you can make money and earn a living in ways that people couldn't in the past. So I think it's just the natural evolution of things. And then considering millennials and Generation Z are so much better at computerized things than every generation before, I feel like it's just natural. It's just normal.
And let's not get this let's not get this misconstrued. When you're working 40 hours for yourself, you're working 80 hours. 40 hours for someone else. You're working 80 hours for yourself when you become an entrepreneur.
I don't think a lot of people know that, though.
Which is harder. Entrepreneurs,
it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder.
You got to be disciplined.
Yeah. It takes a lot of 80 hours for yourself. And don't get me wrong. At some point in time, if the stars align right, you'll be rewarded financially for it.
Absolutely.
But the brunt of it, you're working 80, 90, 100 hours.
I agree with you guys when it comes to the technology and the people are able to do it and it becomes easier to do. I also think that the technology plays a part to where it's educating people to where it's making people become more of an investor. And it's giving people a tool to become smarter. It's an extension of your mind pretty much if you use your cell phone and the internet the right way. And I think that's what's doing it for a lot of younger generation. I think people are actually becoming smarter. And I think they're saying to themselves, I can make more than just one income, and I need to have different sources of income in order to make my life easier, in order for me to have that work-life balance that I want. But I also think that they don't know the grind that comes with it as far as being an entrepreneur and the discipline that comes with it. Because without the discipline, when you have an employer, you have someone that's keeping you in check, keeping you coming in on time because you don't want to get written up and stuff like that. When you're an entrepreneur and you're totally doing it on your own, you literally have to do that on your own. And that's the hardest part, I think, for most people.
See, there's a lot of people that are entrepreneurs, but there's just not a lot of successful ones. Yeah, so if you want to be a successful from a monetary standpoint, like, again, there's a point where you have to grind, and then everyone has their limits when it comes to burnout. I think that Generation Z and millennials, the biggest thing is we've become more efficient at not having to use as much manpower, man labor to get things done that previous generations did. I think that's the biggest difference now. So people are screaming more work-life balance, but, I mean, everyone would love to have work-life balance, but it just, in every industry, I don't think it's possible. It's not possible in every industry.
I think 15, 20 years from now, the 9-to-5 job won't be the traditional 9-to-5 job. I think it's going to change. And I think coronavirus and the pandemic has sped up that process to where a lot of employers are going to start to say, you know what, man, I don't have to pay for this piece of real estate to have employees here 5 times a week. If I can negotiate something to where I can have it for less, or if I can get people to just work from home, I really think that it's going to speed up the process of more work-life balance of people working from home and stuff like that.
But
and I've already seen it happening with most people that I speak to.
If your business is not scalable in that way, you can't do it. Like, if you have to be in person, you have to see people. Like, for example, if you're a doctor, right? Like, yeah, you can. There's only so many telemedicine things that you could do. So, like, those hours have to be worked. If you're a brick mason, if you're a welder, if you're anything in manual labor, if you're a FedEx delivery guy, if you're an Amazon driver, if you're an Uber driver, like, those people have to work. I think it just depends on the industry.
But I also think that people were forced into that. I don't know how it's going to be when things go back to normal. Because we were forced to send people home. You were forced to work from home, and at this point in time, you're working from home.
You don't think employers enjoyed that, though?
I think some people enjoy that. I think some people didn't. It's not a very easy thing to do, work from home. Again, some companies strived and was beneficial in that, and some companies weren't. And I think that's just different based on the people there, how big your company is, how small your company is. Like,
I actually saw a documentary that a company in China actually started doing it. And it's crazy how much more developed they are than us. The company started doing it, and they started breaking down the numbers. And production actually increased with people working from home. Not only working from home, they did 2 different scenarios. They had people where they worked full-time from home, and then they did people that came into the office 2 times a week. And the people that came into the office 2 times a week were actually more productive than the people that worked at the office full-time or the people that were at home full-time. So I believe that that's the answer. I think that giving that opportunity for people to come and have that face-to-face interaction, but also have the freedom to work from home and to spend more time with their kids and be able to pick up their kids from school, I think that creates less of a stress working environment and allows people to be more productive.
Yeah, but I also think the 90-10 rule will still always exist in every...
Which is what?
Which is 10% of the people normally do 90% of the work in every industry, which is why the compensation usually tends to go like this, where people who are higher up make significantly more money because they're doing
the majority
more work or they're more productive than the lower tier people, which, I mean, it's going to be interesting, though, for sure. It's going to be interesting. But, I mean, again, entrepreneurs, I know a lot of entrepreneurs. I know you guys know entrepreneurs. But
a lot of people fail.
Entrepreneurship is a grind, bro.
A lot of people fail, and it's crazy because you never hear about the failures. And I think that's what most entrepreneurs need to talk more about is their failures, because it gives more of a realistic perspective of it instead of just always putting your highlight reel on Instagram.
Gary Vee talks about it a lot.
Yeah, everybody puts their highlight reel.
He's always talking about like what a grind it is to be an entrepreneur and how most people think they're ready for it, but they're not built for it. Like, listen, man, there's a lot of people who think that they're just gonna be an entrepreneur and work from home and cruise like their way through life. Like, there's a point where you're gonna have to sacrifice something to get your business off the ground, up and running, and create something that a consumer wants. Like, that's the reality. You're not lucking into many successes. Like,
so the next topic that I got for you guys, that people wanted us to talk about today is, should transgenders be participating in sports? What's your guys' opinion on that? Should a man that, you know, turned himself into a woman, should he or she be, you know, participating in combat sports specifically, or any type of other sport?
I mean, I'm an LGBT supporter in every way. I support use of pronouns. I support equality amongst them. But the sports arena for me is that's just different. Like, it's a tough one, but for me, the answer would be no. I think that men and women's physiology is just too different, especially in a combat sports setting, for that to even be
so.
Like
Should transgenders have their own sports? Like,
I don't think
I don't think there's enough.
I don't think there's enough to have their own sports. Now, and again, I'm a full supporter. I actually believe it's perfectly fine for them to be in sports. I think that combat sport is different.
Okay.
But every other sport, I'd be perfectly fine with. But I would also need to know like the science behind it to actually.
So you'd be okay. You'd be okay with a 6'8" man that, you know, decided that he wanted to be a woman, to be playing in the NCAA with other women.
Yeah, if that's
and be bodying them.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. If they wanted to live their life like if that individual wanted to live his life as a woman,
and you think that's fair?
As a woman.
Let me ask you a more personal question. Yeah. Your daughter's like a gymnast of sorts, okay?
Yes.
So if your daughter was in a competition, right, and your daughter's what, 8 now?
She's 8.
8? Yeah. And she was 13, okay, and lost to a 13-year-old boy and finished second, you be okay with that?
I'd be perfectly fine with it, and me and my daughter would talk about it, and we would be. It's all about getting better. How can we get better?
But
how
do you
could
think
you
it's
get better?
fair? Because the thing is, life's not fair, but the reason why I think sports is such a great thing because it tries to at least operate on the surface of fairness.
I think it does try to operate on the surface of fairness.
So you're okay with it as long as it's not a combat sport?
I think it,
so. Like if it was boxing or MMA, you'd be like,
not a combat sport.
That's crazy.
And I'm thinking that simply because
they had a transgender man fighting against women, and he was cracking their skulls.
Yeah, I think the combat sport is where you can draw the line, simply because it's like physical and bodily harm to someone.
But once you open Pandora's box, though, isn't it? It's very hard to.
It's very hard to
pull.
I think
I
think that's very hard to do that. But I just don't. I'm not. I'm a fan of combat sport, but I don't want unfair combat sport. Like and if
but you don't think on the basketball court that'd be unfair as well?
No, because it's not combat. It's not combat. It's
but
skill.
It's physical.
It is skill and it is physical.
So a 6'8" dude,
and men tend to be stronger, more explosive, quicker,
more expensive, more explosive and quicker. Those things are.
A woman who wins a gold medal in the 100 meters will lose to the fastest high school boy in the country.
There are.
You'd be okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Track and field.
I'm okay with that simply because.
So if Usain Bolt was transgender,
Whoa, we go from one here, we go from one here.
Because one here. And it's because listen, I have no problems with what you decide you want to be. Whether you decide you want to be a man or a woman, I have no problem with that.
Then how do you have a problem?
But I don't think that you should be competing. I don't think you should be competing in track and field.
Again, how do you have a problem saying, "Oh yeah, you can"? If you feel like a woman or you feel like a man or whatever, you can do that. You can feel that way, but you can't do this
because physically,
because we're operating on the surface of fairness.
But
it's biologically not fair.
It's biologically not fair, but this person feels the way he or she feels, and they relate in this way. I have yet to see.
Now, if that person was going
to see, I have yet to see someone transgender who, whether it's transgender woman, transgender man. Play a combat sport and play a sport and play it as if they were like a man.
Wrestling.
Yeah, that woman just won like Division 2 or 3 NCAA's sprinting champ.
She ran like I'm not
transgender man.
I don't mind that. I mean, I'm talking about.
So you think? Let me ask you this.
But it creates an unfair competition.
Correct. If that's what you think, I don't believe it feels that. I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way. You're talking about somebody who's taking hormone pills, who's like putting themselves in the position to feel and be a woman.
But men are bigger human beings than women are.
Completely understand.
Bigger, stronger, faster.
Let me ask you something. Your daughter was in the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
If she's in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And she's running and she missed out on winning gold because a transgender man beat her,
Yes.
you'd be okay with that.
I'm okay with it. Do you understand?
I
that?
wouldn't be okay with it. You'd be okay with it?
I'm okay with that. What am I going to stand on there?
That's what the
preach
sports
about that?
The
No.
sports part is where the line will be drawn from. But
I don't
again,
think
like
you can do
if
that.
you're
I
gonna
don't
let
think
them
you can
compete
say I
in any
support.
sport, then you can't sit here and say, well, they can't compete in boxing.
I
See
feel
that's to me. Like you either let them compete in everything or you let them compete in nothing.
I can understand that, but my whole thing is I just don't want to see the bodily harm. I don't. If that bodily harm is that, if there's that big of a difference, I don't want to see bodily harm. I don't want, like, somebody's literally getting hurt. So there's death. Like, death can be on the line. We've seen boxers die.
You don't think
But
psychologically
someone winning a medal in the Olympics is life changing.
I don't give a fuck about.
But wait, you don't
I
think psychologically it would mess a woman up if she's like, I just lost my opportunity to win a gold medal because I lost to a transgender man. You don't think that would bother them?
Yeah, yes, I think that's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. But there's also another 4 years. You can try again. Maybe that happens again. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. But again, I've seen boxers and I've seen combat sport. People die in that sport. Like, we're talking about life and death. I don't care about you losing. Britt, I've told you, Britt, I don't care you lose. Like, if you lose, you lose. I get it. It happens. That happens. But what can we do from this point on? How do you come back? How do you get this back? How do you get better? How do you compete? How do you do
for
this?
transgenders? They need to have their own sport.
That's the only thing that matters. I don't care that you
if
lose.
NCAA had a Division I females football team, you would be okay with a transgender man playing football?
Yeah, I'd be okay with that as well.
Wow.
I'd be okay with that as well.
Joey, let me ask you something. Let me ask you, Joey.
I mean, that's the closest sport to combat.
Hold on. Watch this.
Yeah, but it's
Joey.
It's not combat.
Joey.
But people get injured and hurt severely.
Hold on, Joey.
People get injured. That's a rare occurrence. People don't get injured because I'm stronger than him. You know that. You've played ball a long time. People get hurt because I'm stronger than you. People get hurt because of what? I've done something the wrong way.
Joey,
so if you teach the sport properly,
are significantly
if you're teaching the sport properly,
if
you're teaching the sport properly,
watch this. Hey, Joey.
You think I was the strongest man to play football?
Joey, where did you play?
Of course not.
Where did you play football?
Where
did you play?
What position? Linebacker.
Okay, what school?
Boston College.
Okay, and were you captain of that football team?
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. If you played with a bunch of women at where you were at as linebacker, the physicality that you played at, if you tackled a woman the same way that you were tackling men, you don't think that it'd be an unfair advantage?
No, I wouldn't hurt her. She wouldn't have bodily harm.
So you've never hurt someone on a football field?
Yeah, I've hurt someone in a football field. Okay. But when I've hurt someone in a football field, someone did something the wrong way. It's not. It wasn't just like something.
The average woman weighs less and is significantly smaller.
Someone did something
and they're not as strong.
Way. I hit Alex Smith in the head. Like, that happened. I hit him in the head. But he got a concussion. Like, those things happen
very many small.
You don't think that you have a competitive advantage of playing on the football field?
Yeah,
with
would
women?
you have a competitive advantage? I've never said I wouldn't have a competitive advantage. I never said that.
Is that operating on the surface of fairness?
It's operating on the surface of fairness, and yes, because that's a woman.
Because you just said you have a competitive advantage.
That's a woman. I have a competitive. Yeah, but so what? Reggie has a competitive advantage than me. What is that supposed to mean? People naturally are bigger and stronger. Gaz is naturally bigger and stronger than me. I'm quicker than him.
Yeah.
But so what?
But
there's an advantage there.
You play different positions.
It doesn't make a difference. There's competitive advantages on all positions. LeBron James is a competitive advantage. What the fuck are we talking about?
So if LeBron James decided to become a transgender woman and you put him in the women's WNBA, you think that's fair?
He would kick their ass just like he's kicking their ass in the fucking men's league.
But he have 10 rings instead of 4.
He would still kick their ass like he's kicking their ass there.
Yeah, but he's not.
The competitive advantage is still there.
The dominance is different, though.
The dominance would be different. Of course, he'd be
which would be unfair.
How? It's still dominance.
Then why do they have men's and women's sports then? Why separate it? Well, might as well just have one sport.
Yeah. Because typically women want to play with women and men want to play with men. Typically.
Well, no, typically they're not equals in a physical sense.
Typically men want to, but they're also first of all, you have unisex teams and shit like that.
Yeah, when they're children.
You have that. Children. You don't have that in professional league, but we have that. Like, we're gonna act like we don't have this.
We don't have it in high school. We don't have it in college. We don't have it at the professional level.
The point is, this person is living their life as a woman or a man. This person is living their life.
I don't have a problem with that.
So if it was a man, if it was a woman who wanted to live their life as a man, transgender man, and he wanted to play football, we're gonna say no? Can't play football?
Good luck.
I mean,
what do you mean? Now it's good luck.
But they don't have an advantage. They don't have They don't have an advantage though.
What is that? I don't know that. I played with some women in Little League. That little fucking Dinette was kicking our ass.
In Little League.
What do you mean?
At the collegiate level and the professional level,
I think she tried to play high school. I don't know. I can't remember.
At the collegiate level and the professional level, they don't have physical advantage.
Because she didn't want to play, continue to play.
But they don't have a physical advantage.
I'm not saying I don't give a damn about the physical advantage. This person wants to live their life as
Which
a
is
woman. I'm
strange for
perfectly
someone
fine
who
with
believes
that.
in surface fairness in sports.
I do believe in fairness in sports. So, again, I'm not
this
the
is
biggest.
contradictory to
I'm not the
your belief.
biggest, strongest, fastest. It doesn't make a difference. There's somebody who's going to be dominant. There's someone who's going to be bigger than you, stronger than you, faster than you. I don't
Yes.
give a fuck
Correct.
whether I'm okay. So what's
And
the
those
difference?
people will be
what's
men.
the difference if that's a man or a woman?
Or those people
what's
will
the
be women.
difference? What's the difference if that's a man or a woman? Literally,
The
be
difference is-
honest.
the
What's
difference is the
Do you
advantage.
think? Let me ask you something. Do you think?
What's the difference if that's a
And
man
I
or
know
a
we
woman?
can't speak for all women, but do you think NCAA women that play college basketball right now, you think they'd be okay with a 6'6" transgender man playing in their league and dominating and scoring 45 and 10 on them?
I think they'd be all right with it. I think there's going to be some people who aren't, and there are going to be some people who are, just like anything.
Do you think
Just like anything.
Do you think the NCAA would allow that?
I do not
Not
know.
right now. I mean, I could see something like that happening in
I do
the
not
future.
know.
I
You
would
think eventually
something
they're gonna
like
allow
that
it?
in the future. I wouldn't be surprised.
Possibly.
I wouldn't
don't
be
know.
surprised.
But
I honestly wouldn't.
That's
be
insane.
surprised. I feel like it's
understand.
trending
Let me
in
ask
that
you something.
direction anyway.
Listen, I just don't understand
but for
how
me,
you guys feel that
but
way.
for me, if you're
Shit.
gonna let them play sports, let them play everything.
I just don't feel. I like
So
wrestling.
listen,
I'm
you know
fine
what
with.
would bother me if I had a
Combat
daughter.
sports,
If I had a
I'm fine.
daughter and she was going in to play college basketball, she was getting recruited, and that last scholarship was taken away from her because a transgender
There's
man
117 schools. There's 117 schools.
Bro, it's just
There's
There's
117
117 1A schools.
Well, whatever.
For
You know what I
football
meant.
anyways.
You know what I meant.
I don't know, man. I just think
You know
that
what I
the
meant.
competitive advantage is just it's too different, man. And that's just
There's a
Man,
There's a competitive advantage everywhere.
I
Holy
under-
shit!
I
When you
understand
look
what
at
you're
Cam,
but even
when you
those
look at Cam
competitive
Newton,
advantages,
there's a competitive
I would
advantage.
love to
operating
have-
on surface
I would love-
level
What do you mean? It's
fairness.
God given. It's God given.
I would
Cam
love to
Newton
have
is
this
a fucking specimen.
I would love
What
to
the
have this
fuck?
conversation
He's a
with
fucking
women.
physical specimen.
With women that play sports. I would love to have this
Ocho
conversation with
Cinco,
women that
like
play
these
sports.
are
I wanna know
elite
their
players. Fucking Terrell Owens. These are elite fucking players. I don't give a fuck who you are. Then there's 3,000 NFL players and there's 3,000 people in the NFL.
But
God damn it, they're all not fucking
still
talented.
operating on a surface level of fairness.
A surface level of fairness. What is that? That we all have a penis and balls?
Yeah.
That's it.
We
That's
all
it.
have similar levels of
That's
testosterone.
it. We all have
have 24
a
hours
penis
in a
and
day
balls.
to
They
be
all
able
have
to work out.
They all have 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Women have 24 hours in a day. Men have
Yeah.
24 hours in
But
a
they
day.
don't
What the
have the
fuck is
same
that supposed to mean?
physiological makeup.
What does that supposed to mean? It doesn't mean shit.
It means a lot.
Listen,
That's the difference between you being able to give birth and not.
You
What do
know
mean? What
about
does it mean?
you know about natural talent and all. You know about natural talent and all. It doesn't make a difference whether I work hard or do whatever the fuck I can.
But it makes
work
a
as hard as
difference
I
whether
can.
someone has
I can work
testes
as hard
or
as I can.
ovaries.
I can work
That-
as hard as I can. There's natural talent
on your
that you can't
physical
fucking
makeup,
do.
it makes a
There's
difference.
natural talent that you can't fucking do. You can't duplicate it. It's natural talent you can't duplicate it. I
This
don't
is-
care
this
what
is
you
a
do.
conversation-
But the world has showed us that women are not on the same physical level from a sporting
from a
perspective.
strength and of explosiveness. And
Yeah.
From I can understand that.
But that's
I
what
can
we're
understand
saying.
that.
That's why it's not fair.
It's an advantage.
There's a different level in men too. There's
So let me ask you
more
something.
that
Do you
are
think-
in the same
Do you think
ballpark?
Do you think it's okay for men that play sports to take performance enhancing drugs?
I think some of it is.
I'm asking you. So
I
you think it's
some of it
okay?
is. I think human growth hormones is perfectly.
Do you
fine.
think steroids is okay? If
No,
one
I
man
think
is taking
human growth hormones
steroids,
is perfectly
if
fine.
one man is taking steroids
I
and
think
another man
human-
and another man, if a
I
whole
think
team is taking
human
steroids
growth-
and another team is not, do you think? Are you okay with that?
I think human growth. I think HGH.
Would
is
you be okay
perfectly
with
fine.
that?
You.
I mean, it happens already.
I think.
No, I'm
HGH
saying, but
is fine.
if let's say a whole team was taking steroids and another whole team was not taking steroids,
that would be your choice.
would you be okay with that?
That would
though?
be your choice.
Is there an advantage?
That would be.
Is
your
there an
choice.
advantage?
No,
Depending
that would
on
be
the
your
sport,
choice.
there is an advantage.
That would be your choice.
Yes.
Because if
100%.
it becomes
Would that be okay though?
If it becomes-
or is it still fairness?
if it becomes legal, then what's the difference? If it's legal, what's the difference? What the fuck is the
Yeah, but
difference? If it's
legal-
legal,
legal and right is
if it's
not always
legal,
the same
if it's
thing.
legal, and I can do it, and you can do it. If you choose to do it and I don't choose to do it, that's a fucking personal choice.
Again,
That's a fucking personal
I
choice.
want to have this conversation
steroids
with women
are
that
illegal.
play
They
college
are
sports.
illegal, and they are illegal. And that's why I told him when you said it. I said human growth.
Have you
I
guys
think human
ever
growth
had this
is perfectly fine.
conversation with any women that play college sports? If they'd be okay with a transgender man playing their sport?
I haven't, but I did see like a video that
I got-
that 50-year-old guy that's playing. I can't remember what division it is, but he was like in the military and he just became transgender. He's playing basketball. He's like 6'8", and all the girls on the team love him. I don't know how people competing against him feel, but the girls on the team seem to be very receptive to him or her.
It's not gonna happen that often that this needs to be like worried about. One.
Yeah, but when it happens and dominance occurs, that's the issue. It's not. No, let's be honest. No one cares about the transgender person that's competing that isn't very good. It's the problem is that
where I got the problem was, and I seen the person doing MMA and cracking women's skulls. Like that to me was
because of what? Because it's a combat. You see somebody get hurt.
That was crazy.
Because it's combat.
But why is it not fair though? Why is it not fair?
Because it's combat.
No, but why is it not fair though?
Because as a man, I should be stronger and
that's what we're saying about other sports.
So what? Again, I played this sport. I was not the fastest. I was not the strongest. What the fuck? Everybody is faster and stronger. There's a surface level of fairness. There's a surface level of
amongst men and women. If that was the case, a whole bunch of women would just play in the NFL, but they physically can't.
Come on,
they physically can't.
Somebody
a whole bunch of women will.
Somebody might be able to.
Okay, like, for example, Candace Parker,
to.
Tamika Catchings, Sue Bird, all these. They wouldn't be able to make an NBA roster.
Wow, they should try. Who the fuck knows?
They wouldn't be able to.
They should try.
Because they don't have the same physical abilities as men.
Who the fuck knows? When you hear about them, those WNBA players,
Taurasi.
when you hear about these WNBA players playing against these men who practice, they be you hear about them girls busting their ass.
Men that aren't very good.
We're talking
about the highest level.
You're gonna see people.
Diana Taurasi probably tear us up.
You're gonna see
not probably she would.
Yeah, but my point is not on an NBA court.
You're gonna see people who survive, and you're gonna see people who can't. Listen, that's the way fucking sports is. Sports is
so
not
basically
fucking
you just
fair.
think men and women should just play sports together.
Sports is not fucking. If you can compete, yeah, go ahead. This shit's not fair. Sports is not fucking fair. I don't know.
This is not
an
indictment on if a woman at the highest level could compete at a man's sport, like everyone would be okay with that. But it's when men are competing at women's sports and dominating.
How would everyone be okay with that?
Issue.
It would be okay with that.
Because if Diana Taurasi was good enough to play in the NBA, people would say, great, congratulations. Go be great.
Why can't you say it the other way? Why can't it go the other way?
Because there's the physical dynamics of a man and woman are so different.
If it's not combat sport, I'm perfectly fine with it. Listen, running,
but football is pretty physical.
Again, you only get hurt in football when you do something the wrong way. That's
all right. So real quick, just to transition here real quick, we're gonna talk about the disrespect of the NCAA with the men's and women's basketball. I'm sure you guys saw the photos of the weight rooms, the parody in that.
Yeah, the weight room was real disrespectful.
Everything about it, with the exception of the merchandise, which I can only accept is the merchandise. All that shit's disrespectful.
So why can you accept the merchandise?
I can accept the merchandise simply because there's sponsorships that are attached to the merchandise for the commercials and nature of the business in that regards. But everything else is not attached to it.
But why do the men have so many better gifts
attached to it? Because there's more sponsorships that are supporting,
and there's more sponsorship because why? Because there's more money.
People are more interested in it.
But there's more money.
Because there's more marketing money.
Yeah. So what it comes down to is money, though, in every aspect.
It doesn't come down
to the weight
room
part I don't understand because...
Why? What's the difference? There's money.
The weight room part I don't understand because it doesn't cost you any money to have weights there. Like,
why? I gotta
it doesn't cost you any money.
I gotta get the weights and put them there.
Yeah, they probably got them from a local high school, or local college.
That shit wasn't no local shit. You gotta get the weights and put them there.
Yeah.
You probably rented them from
exactly. That's
so what's the difference? So you're right. So that's why I think that in the food, what
did you see with the food?
I didn't see anything wrong with the food. I just saw one would look like it was delivery and the other one looked buffet style.
The food.
One looked like it was packaged for individual people, and the other one looked like buffet style.
One looked like some shit you get in county fucking jail.
But then again, typically men
shit you get in county fucking
jail. Men are a little bit bigger, they eat a little bit more.
Salisbury steak bullshit.
Different physiology.
You gotta be kidding. That shit was mystery meat. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck about all that.
I look like an impossible burger.
That shit was mystery fucking meat. That shit had like fucking... That shit was disgusting. I wanted to throw up watching that shit.
Looks can be deceiving.
Fucking throw up. You gotta be kidding me. If you think that's perfectly fine that your child should eat like that, you fucking kidding me.
The weight room was disrespectful.
The weight room
it was 6 dumbbells, 6 dumbbells.
There's more weights in this room right now.
Hey, 6 dumbbells, a yoga mat, and a jump rope.
And it's the fucking NCAA. You
they
motherfuckers
probably
got a
thought those girls
boatload
were
of
just
money.
gonna be doing hot yoga.
Boatload of fucking money. Boatload.
A
boatload. You can afford fucking food. You can afford fucking weight rooms. I mean, get it. I get it. Merchandise, whatever. And I get it. You got
my whole thing is, why don't you just work out in the same weight room as the men's weight room? Why?
I mean, are they the same location? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're the same location.
I think they were all in Indianapolis.
I'm not sure.
But the tournaments are not going on at the same time anyways, right?
Oh, they're not?
Are they?
I have no clue, man.
I'm not sure, man. But
no. I think the women's tournament starts a week after, a week before. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it starts not a week, like a few days after, a few days before.
Because if they started at the same time, then the women probably wouldn't get as many viewers.
Probably not. And it's not as
because the money just doesn't add up.
The money doesn't add up in terms of sponsorship dollars. The money adds up in terms of fucking food. The money adds up in terms of fucking.
Yeah, it just looked like it looked like I saw buffet style and I saw delivery.
Tyrone, you fucking kidding me? Stop calling it delivery.
That's what it looked like.
Stop.
You've had delivery before.
Stop.
I've had delivery. Have you ever had delivery?
Delivery.
It's healthy food that's made.
Stop
like
calling that shit delivery. You know that shit. That shit looks like that shit they give you at fucking military. Listen, I've been to jail before. That shit looks like that shit. That shit looks like that shit. It looked like some delivery. That fucking jailhouse shit.
Healthy, look like healthy, organic.
No. You know what's crazy?
That was meal prep.
Military feeds you good.
They feed you good?
They feed you good.
Oh shit, it looks
they
like
just don't feed you good in the field.
Looks like you motherfuckers eat out the fucking rat shit.
No, you eat MREs.
MREs in the field.
You gotta open up. But the actual buffet.
I've tasted them MREs.
Bro,
the actual
disgusting. Bro, they feed you good.
The MREs are disgusting.
You get 3 meals every day. You just gotta go to the chow hall.
What the fuck? That shit
you get fed good, bro. I'm telling you, the military feeds you good, man.
Shit is bullshit.
So
got fucking all that money and doing that bullshit. They shame on the motherfucker.
Listen, man.
Shame on them. Son, shame on them.
So do you guys agree? But that's what I was going to say.
Stop saying the fucking dollars. There's no fucking dollars that matter in there. That does not come down to dollars. That comes out to disrespect. The NCAA is a fucking $1 billion.
Why was there disrespect?
It's a $1 billion business.
The disrespect was because they're not making the same amount of money for the NCAA that the men are. That's why disrespect happened.
The NCAA shares all that fucking money. It's a pot. It's a pot that they fucking hand out for conferences, for fucking conferences. It's a pot that he hand out for fucking conferences. Bullshit. Fuck you, NCAA.
Even at the men's level, every conference doesn't make the same amount of money. Every conference doesn't have the same TV.
In a tournament, that's a whole different thing. In a tournament, they all make the fucking same amount of money, depending on who wins it. In the tournament, I don't care.
That's why there's a disparity.
In the tournament, they all make the same. Now, in your individual conferences, from one to the next, that's a completely different thing. But in the tournament, they all make the fucking same. That is the only reason why.
The women's tournament makes the same amount of money.
No, in the tournament, they share the pot. They share the pot. It doesn't make the NCAA.
The men's team shares the men's pot. The women's team shares the women's pot.
The NCAA
those
shares
pots
the
are
pot.
very different.
The NCAA shares the pot.
Those pots
shares the pot.
I think he's right.
The NCAA shares the pot.
The NCAA shares the pot, but they're allocating money to the women's tournament based on the money that they make from the tournament.
And that right
they're
there
allocating to the men's tournament based off the money that they make.
And that
I'm not
right
feeding
there,
you steak and shrimp because I'm not making shrimp and steak money
that
from
right
you.
there is the bullshit because you keep.
I'm not saying that it's not wrong. I'm saying that's why it's happening.
That's the bullshit. And the bullshit is that because simply
I'm not saying that it's not bullshit.
You hold everybody under the same standard.
I'm saying this is the reason it's happening.
And that's why I say fuck you.
You know, there's a crazy statistic. There's a crazy statistic that it's like
fucking criminal.
The 90% or more comes from the men's football.
Fuck yeah.
Or basketball team, right? Something like that. Like 90%, and then it just
and it's all
they allocate the money to volleyball, softball, baseball.
Yeah, of course, because they're non-revenue sports.
Of course.
If Title IX didn't exist, most of these colleges wouldn't have women's sports. But I'm all for women's sports. The reality just is that they're looking after their money in whatever
it all comes down to
devious way that you want to say it is.
That's fucking horseshit. That's fucking bullshit and shame.
We're not saying that.
I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that out loud.
Right. We're just saying the truth though that they're going based off of where the money's coming from.
It's the same argument that because the U.S. women's soccer team is way better and way more prolific than the men's soccer team. They've actually won World Cups. Do they make the same amount of money? No,
but they shouldn't
because the men's World Cup generates way more revenue.
I'm not saying that.
So it simply comes down to money.
I'm not saying they shouldn't make this. They should make the same amount of money.
But the women's soccer team believes they should be making the same money. They believe they should be making more money than
I'm saying that
they actually win World Cups.
But how do you pay the same if you don't got the money coming in?
Exactly. Supply and demand.
I say that they should eat the fucking same. I say that the plane should be the same. I say that their fucking gear should be the same. I say that shit like that should be the same.
But you're allocating the money based off what you're making.
It's the United States. It's the United States.
First of all, every business is in
all together.
The United States Federation of Soccer, right, is in it to make money. Every business is started to make money. Of course. Even the NCAA.
Joey, we're not saying that it's right.
Non-profit organization. They're in it to make money.
Joey, we're not saying that it's right. We're just telling you how it's happening.
It's not you're telling me. It's not that I don't fucking know. It's in a pot. I'm not saying that the women should be paid equally.
But you don't
I'm
believe
not
in
saying
fairness
that.
anyways. You just told us you don't believe in fairness.
What do you mean? I do believe in fairness.
You do?
Yeah. So
you believe that a transgender man should be able to compete?
That's not fairness?
No.
Well, and to me it is because that is
so you have select because that is a
transgender man. No.
So you have selective.
How am I supposed to say? How am I supposed?
Combat sports is not fair, but football, basketball, y'all can do that.
I don't want to see anybody.
You can do that.
I don't want to see anybody get. I don't want to see anybody die. I don't want to see anybody get. I've seen boxers die.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Men have killed men before.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I'm not gonna sit here and a man beating a woman's ass. That's a completely different thing. A physical.
But like he just said, a man has killed a man before. So what's
a man has killed a man before. Yeah. That's the difference. A man has killed a man before. I'm not gonna sit here and say.
So now a man on a man is there's no difference.
There's no difference between me and some other man fighting and kicking each other's ass. No.
But there's a difference between a man and a woman kicking each other's ass.
There's a difference between a man and a woman kicking each other's ass.
So there's not a difference between a man and a woman racing in a 100-meter dash.
No, not in my opinion. Not in my opinion. Wow. Have you ever been beaten by a woman in something?
Yes.
A girl in a sport, in some kind of racing, fun. I don't care what it is.
I mean, no, maybe ping pong,
pong.
pool or something. Maybe.
Ping pong,
yeah.
pool.
Something that's not physical. He's saying something that's not physical.
Something that's not physical is skill. There's skill. There's power. Is there not power in that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what the fuck is?
I'm sure there's girls that can beat me in many things that I don't do. But I'm saying when you specialize, if you're a soccer player and you specialize in that skill, and a woman does, soccer players will tend to be better. That's why Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi are making X amount of dollars.
They're making X amount of dollars simply because sponsorships
more people watch.
People watch it
because those people are faster, more explosive.
People watch it. But
why do people watch it?
It is. I'm not saying you can't say somebody's not as talented.
No, I'm saying, but why do people?
Are you
going to
say somebody because not as talented? That's your opinion.
No, that's the world's opinion.
That's your opinion.
It existed before me.
Your opinion.
TV revenues existed way before anyone thought of it.
That's your opinion.
No, that's the world. That's the proof.
That's what.
It's not my opinion. That's a fact.
What I'm saying here
based on viewership.
There's nothing difference between that sports. I understand that you have to be paid differently because of the money that's coming in. Paid differently is a completely different thing. I completely understand that. Okay. Everything else is perfectly fine to me.
But you're still allocating money based on what you're making. So the food and things like that may be different. I don't believe that it's right, especially the NCAA
not
doing
when it comes to the NCAA. When it comes to
the NCAA,
when it comes to the NCAA, that can't be different.
But they're corrupt.
Because that is the governing body over all of it. That's the governing body over all of it.
WNBA players should get paid the same as NBA players.
Of course not. Of course not. They should not get paid the same as NBA players. That doesn't mean a transgender woman can't play. The fuck does that matter? Should Sue Bird get paid as much as fucking LeBron James? Hell no. Breonna Stewart get paid as much as LeBron James? Hell no.
The women's soccer and the men's soccer team.
No, I never said they should get paid the same. I said they should ride the same pot. It is coming from the same pot. They should ride the same plane. They should fucking eat the same food. You can't get paid the same.
Okay, let me give you an example.
I can't get paid the same. I can give you the basic necessities.
If you're Lionel Messi, right, and you're going to the World Cup, okay, and you're making $80 million a year, there's a certain level of expectation you expect to ride in.
Okay.
Yes?
I understand.
So they might be riding in a luxury, futuristic bus. Okay. The leader of the female Argentinian team can't expect to be riding the same bus.
Why?
Because they're not making this generating the same amount of money for the federation.
What is that supposed to mean?
That's why.
It's the
when Messi shows up to the stadium, 80,000 people show up.
Argentina.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Argentina.
Though. They're still laying out money, right? They're laying out that super nice
because of how much revenue they've created.
How much money that Messi's going to bring in.
It's Argentina. You should still be able to give that basic necessity.
First of all, we're not talking about what should happen. We're saying what's going to happen based off the money.
Of course, it's not going to happen. Of course, it's not going to happen. You can afford to do it. They can afford to do it. They should.
Yeah, the NCAA can afford to do it, and they still haven't done it.
They can afford to do it, and they should do it. That's all I'm saying. Because you can afford to do it, you should do it.
But that's not how business works.
It's not how business works.
A lot of publics can afford to pay everyone that works for them $30 an hour, but they won't do it.
So will this be fixed? Will this be fixed
at some point?
Will this be fixed now that a lot of people have been airing out pictures and stuff like that?
I mean, it won't happen next year.
Of course,
it won't happen next year.
Of course,
it won't.
You feel like it's been aired out now?
It's bad optics.
Of course,
it's bad optics.
Of course, it's gonna be fixed.
And the people behind the scenes know exactly why they did it, but they're just trying to, save face. So it will never happen again because they realize the backlash, and we live in the social media era, so shit gets out quickly. So they can't do it. They can't do it in the first place.
How in the fuck did you not read the room here? What the fuck? How the fuck did you not read the room there? When somebody was signing off on this shit and they say, yeah, let me give you 12 fucking dumbbells, nobody said, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Fuck that. Nobody said that. Nobody said that when they showed them fucking mystery meat.
There's no way that whoever set that up wasn't like, damn, this is fucking wrong, bro.
Ain't no fucking way.
They weren't even.
No fucking
They didn't
way.
even think that. They didn't think it through.
Think that through.
They didn't
care. They didn't care.
Whoever didn't think that through should be fucking fired.
Somebody probably got fired.
You should be fucking fired. And whoever signed off on the shit,
the PR person
should be fucking fired from the fucking ground up. All you motherfuckers get fired. We're replacing all you motherfuckers.
Or next year they'll tell all the people you're not allowed to bring your phone into the weight room or the mess hall.
Listen, NCAA will pull that bullshit.
Bro, you know what
happened?
somebody was probably talking to like a female coach or something was probably talking to a male coach like, yo, they got us over here in delivery. What y'all eating? Oh, we over here in surf and turf. What y'all eating?
No, what's happening is like you just see the men's team sharing this shit.
How did you guys get fed?
Is what
when
it is.
you guys were playing for Boston?
Like
College?
fucking kings.
Good,
like fucking kings. This is ridiculous. But the women, guess what? The women got fed the same.
Oh, they got fed the same.
Fuck yeah, we were on the same meal plan. Now I don't know how it was when they traveled and shit like that. I can't speak for that. I can't speak for that. But
what about when you guys traveled? How was it when you guys traveled?
Yeah, because they probably did.
When you guys traveled, what did you guys eat when you guys traveled?
I mean, I don't know. It was always delivery shit.
But it wasn't. It didn't look like the picture that you saw.
No, that Salisbury steak bullshit. Not that fucking mystery meat bullshit. Stop calling it delivery. Stop.
It looked like healthy organic food.
You calling that shit delivery?
Burger, right?
It's fucking killing me. It's killing me.
That's what it looked like.
That was supposed to be.
It looked like, keep it real.
It was supposed to be Salisbury steak.
It looked like somebody meal prepped.
That shit looked like spam.
It looked like somebody meal prepped. Bro, it looked like somebody meal prepped Impossible Burger.
That shit looked like spam.
They wanted them to get that good, healthy protein.
I hope you don't have a daughter.
Somebody had bubble guts.
I hope you don't have a daughter. I hope you don't have a daughter because I want you to explain to her why the fuck she got to eat jailhouse mystery meat. You stupid fucking bullshit. That's stupid fucking bullshit.
First of all, you're saying it's jailhouse again. That's your opinion. What I saw looked like an organic, fresh delivery meal that looked like it was meal prep.
Where's his wife?
The only problem I have with it is it looked like it was meal prep, but it didn't look fresh.
Where's his wife, man?
That's the only problem.